Hey, I'm Eric O'Keefe, and I'm here with Karen Hallums, and she is an amazing client of Coach Tam Fitness. And she's here today to talk about her experience. She's here to talk about the results and her journey through this whole process and what everything is like. So, Karen, thanks so much for taking the time to come on and share your journey. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here with you.
All right, so let's kind of set the stage for anybody who's watching this. Right, they don't know, myself included. We don't know your background, so I'm kind of curious. Like, what was the big issue? What was the big struggle that you were trying to overcome that led you to end up training and working with Coach Tam?
The biggest issue is the cycle. I think you know how you can start losing weight, maybe a quick fix with some kind of diet aid,
Hmm.
um, and then you get down to a certain weight, and then all of a sudden life hits, and then you forget about what you were doing, and the weight comes back, and so it starts to become like this. You're on the hamster wheel, and you can't get off. It's up, it's down, um, and I kind of needed somebody to guide me through more than just the physical part. And I think that's what Tam does. She guides me through more than just the physical exercise and the meal plan.
So as you go in, right, you talked about the hamster wheel. So I'm guessing it's just been a frustration for you where over time, right, just on it, off it, on it, and it just gets frustrating the way it's up and down, and it
Yeah,
not only drags on you physically but emotionally as well.
emotionally, because you start to think that you're never going to be able to reach your goal. And, you kind of feel like, well, what's wrong with me that I can't reach it?
Hmm.
So it's a lot more emotional that I'm learning than it actually is the physical part.
Okay. Was there a specific moment that triggered you saying, okay, I've had it. Like, I need to find somebody that can help me? Was there a moment, or was it just something finally you just built up and you're like, I'm going to do this now?
I think it was a matter that um, I have high blood pressure and I take medication on a daily basis. But I thought I was actually working very hard to get off that medication. But when I went to the doctor, instead of taking me off, he increased it. And with job stress and just trying to figure out what was actually going on, that was the point that I figured out I needed to get a hold of somebody that could help me get on track and get on track as a lifestyle, not
Hmm.
just as a quick fix.
Yeah. Okay. And so you found Coach Tam, and I guess going in, first experiences, were you nervous? Were you apprehensive? Like, how were you feeling like with your first experience?
I think at the beginning, I just didn't really think that it would make a difference. You know how
Yeah.
you tried so many different things and they work for a second, but then they turn off to something else.
Right.
So I just kind of felt like this is just another one of those stories. It may work for a minute, but I don't know that it's going to work for the long haul. And that's what I needed was long haul.
So you were doubting yourself from all your previous
Yeah,
experiences, and all
yes.
that stuff kind of just added up, and so you were, honestly, you were skeptical.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's one thing when you get to the physical part, trying to change your appearance, but when it's actually dealing with your health and the longevity of your life, it becomes a whole different thing.
Okay.
You don't have time to really waste with maybes. You need something that's really going to work.
Okay. And so you started working with Coach Tam, and has she alleviated some of that skepticism? Has there been progress in that where you're not doubting yourself as much and you're starting to feel better?
I feel a lot better when things. I started out very well, and of course something goes on, and I call it life happens, and then you kind of fall off the wagon. But Tam talks you through the fact that you have to understand. We've got to figure out mentally, emotionally, what happens when you're doing so well and all of a sudden you hit a bump and you fall all the way off the bike? What is actually going on, and what is it that you need to do so you don't keep having that same response? It's emotional. My thing is emotional eating. I get stressed out at work. I got a deadline, whether it be work, I have taken classes at night,
Mm-hmm.
family concerns, worry,
Yeah.
stress makes me head for the refrigerator and nonstop. We just gonna eat. So she helped me figure out what I was actually doing, and what I could do in the place of it.
Okay.
So that's made the difference for me to this point.
So, and it's from all the other things that you've tried, it sounds like this is a very different approach, right? You did all the things, it was a yo-yo, right? Up and down. This isn't just the band-aid, right? This is let's find what's really going on
Right.
and work on that.
Correct. Because I think when it comes to actually changing your lifestyle as far as your health and your fitness goes, it's more than just eating right and exercising, because there was something that kept you eating in the first place. So you're going to have to figure out what those triggers are
Yes.
and to prevent you from going back.
Okay.
And that's been the difference for me,
And
because I
what's go ahead. Sorry.
I can stop eating, I guess, when I get ready. But if something goes on, I need to be able to have a more direct approach to solving the issue,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just eating and ignoring what the issue really is.
Right. And so when you've been working on this, I guess obviously, right, this is the emotional side, but explain kind of like what it's like to work there and train and work with her. What's that experience like?
uh, it's actually pretty interesting because it starts off, the physical part. Tam is a beast to me physically when it comes to the actual workouts. And like now that I am not in Charlotte with her, and I get these videos, and I'm like, are you really? Is this what you really want me to do physically? But she's always trying to encourage you, and I know you're trying. It's like she's looking right at you when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing it with her talk. So it keeps you going, but at the same time, when it comes to the emotional part, and I stick with the emotional part because I think that's the part that's really made the difference. And she will just ask you those questions that make you really think. And you have to kind of address some things that you've kind of buried deep in your subconscious that you haven't wanted to deal with. And when those things come up, you can kind of talk through why it is, and then replace it with something positive so you can move forward from it.
Okay. And so you've started and been doing this and on this process, and it's helping you along with this stuff. So what kind of results have you seen? Let's stick with actually let's go with the physical side now. Like in the training with her, what have you seen results wise in being part of this?
Um, I've seen that I am not. I'm an old military person, so I know physical activity, but you get away from it and you don't know physical activity. But um, my stamina is building, and I've gone from like a 15, 20-minute workout to a 45-minute to an hour workout. And I don't know the last time I was able to actually do that. Um, and when I would work out maybe once or twice a week, now I'm working out literally every day. So that's a whole nother place for me. I feel bad if I feel like I haven't done enough
Mm-hmm.
physically by
Mm-hmm.
the time I get ready to lay down at night.
Okay. Have you noticed difference in dress sizes or things or weight loss
Oh
along those lines?
yeah, I'm starting to call myself the bag lady, because my my pants are starting to get so big that even with a belt, I feel like um, I probably could fit another person in them.
Wow.
And the thing about that is that these are pants that I just had altered the end of the summer before school started. I need to alter them again.
Wow.
So that's the exciting part. A new wardrobe, baby.
Hmm.
That is my goal. Uh, that is actually my reward for my goal is a new wardrobe.
Okay. Have you tracked anything like numbers or weight lost? Have you followed any of that?
Well, since I've been the diligent pupil, the last 2 weeks, I mean, the last 2 months, I'm down almost 10 pounds. So, and I say the diligent because there's a meal plan,
Hmm.
and I couldn't understand the science of eating all these little meals and losing weight. In my mind, if I eat more,
Yeah. You're
I'm
losing. Yeah.
gaining weight. So I would not adhere to the meal plan, but don't tell Tam that. Um,
That's our secret. We won't say
but
anything.
it's between you and I. But
Okay.
once I actually um, got on the meal plan and started working with it and with the exercise, it was like, whoa, this actually works. This actually works. And every time I get on the scale, I kind of go side eye to the scale because, we get caught up in the numbers of the scale,
Of course.
but I could tell a bigger difference in the inches as my clothes
Hmm.
start to fall off. And I feel better about that part.
Do
Yeah.
you notice too benefits along like you talked about, right? Stress from work, right? There's a lot of things, and we were talking before we recorded, right? You're a teacher, so you have to deal with a lot of things. Have you noticed that going through a lot of this training and working with her, that it's helped on that side of things, on the emotions, on handling stress, or those moments that pop up that are just out of your control?
Actually, it has, because now I kind of take a break and I may walk the building, so to speak. I'll walk the halls on a useless journey other than looking for my sanity instead of responding to whatever
Hmm.
the situation is. I'll walk from one side of the building to the other, go up and come down. And by the time I come back down, um, I've kind of readjusted and it's like, okay, well, it's got to
Hmm.
be done. So no need to worry about the particulars of why it didn't come the way that I thought it should
Of
have.
course, of course.
Let's just go ahead and get it done.
Okay. Have you noticed too? Because right, it's a lot of long days. You're on your feet
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
times. Have you noticed your energy levels shift at all?
My energy level is better. It's higher.
Hmm.
Um, and I've actually become a little bit more organized. I've always considered myself to be organized, but I can tell that I've become more organized and learning how to make better use of my time. My time management is getting better because that was another issue. So I can come in and get things done
Hmm.
and not sit down,
Yeah.
stalking Facebook
Hmm.
and those other social media things. I could actually just
Yeah.
come in and get ready for tomorrow and just kind of unwind for a little bit and then I'm
Okay.
ready to go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right, we were talking earlier about the emotional side of things, but that plays a big part in this next question. And I'm guessing, right, your confidence levels have changed as well while working through this.
It has. I think for women, um, confidence is always uh, kind of a challenge for us. If we are too confident, then people look at us as something else. When we don't have confidence, people think that we're weak. But I feel like now that I actually have control of changing my lifestyle, more healthy, being more physical, um, I kind of feel like I can step out and try some things that I would not have tried before and not really be concerned about what people thought about me trying them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, confidence is a big deal.
And then just a few more questions. And I'm curious because we talked about the blood pressure thing earlier. Have you been back to the doctor since? Has there been any difference that time? Have you noticed
I
anything?
actually due back to the doctor in 14th is about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I have been tracking my blood pressure. That is another thing. Tam has had me tracking my blood pressure. So I track it every week and to take it prior to taking to do a reading prior to doing my medicine in the morning and once a week. And it's actually been lower than it's been in a while.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
That's cool. So you
Yeah.
have, right? So you've lost, I love that phrase, the bag lady. That just makes me laugh. Right? So you went down a lot of dress sizes. You've lost the weight. You've got this emotional support and connection. It's helped you with stress, energy levels, confidence levels, all these things. So would you go as far as to say that this has been life changing for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's not just something that I'm doing. I am changing my life because I have two, three, and one on the way of grandchildren, and I need to be around as long as I can. And I want to crawl on the floor and look just as silly as I possibly can with them. And I need to be physically fit to do that. So yeah, it is really I'm when we're out, I'm making sure of what's the best thing for me to eat and thinking, okay, if they don't have what I know I need to eat, I need to stay away from the things that I need to stay away from. And those are just things that I've learned along the way. So yeah,
And would you have been able to do this without Coach Tam?
no,
No. Okay.
no. I think the biggest thing for me about working with Tam is her pure, uncut commitment to me being successful. She really wants me to succeed. Um, and she goes above and beyond to when I say, if I reach out to her and say, Tam, I don't understand why all of a sudden I'm feeling like I could eat everything. And she respond back and she, well, what went on? Go back, track your day. So when I start to track my day, then I can also start to think back to the whole process of
Right. And what's triggered things and
what
yeah.
triggered it, and then I know how to move forward. But I never would have got that from her because I never would have probably been honest enough to say out loud the things that I've said out loud when talking with Tam because she makes you go there.
Yeah.
So you have to go there in order to go better.
Okay. And then two more questions. If there's someone, let's say someone's in a very similar situation to where you were before you started training here, right? They're maybe having some health issues, things like
Hmm.
that. They're thinking about working here and training with Coach Tam, but they're on the fence. They're not sure. What would you want to tell that person? Kind of get them over the fence and say, listen, this might be something that's right for you.
I would tell them that if they are really, really serious about changing their life, they could do it with no better person than Coach Tam because she will actually sit down and talk and listen to hear exactly what it is that success looks like for you and set you up on a plan and encourage and walk you through that plan until you actually feel solid enough to start working on your own.
Okay.
And I don't know where you're going to get that because
Okay.
she is seriously committed to making sure that you live your best life, your best life.
That'll lead me to this then. We'll wrap up with this question, right? You're just saying that about her. Let's say, right, you mentioned this has basically been life changing for her. It shifted so many things. Let's say she decides to turn off phone, email, closes up shop, does everything, and this is the last time that you could ever say anything to her. Knowing it's the last time, what would you say?
Wow. I never even thought about that being a possibility. Um, I think what I would say is, Tam, Um, I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I know it wasn't easy because I'm not an easy client, but trust me, your work has not been in vain. Don't stop doing what you're doing because there are many women and men that need you. You are God's gift to us. And know that I love you and I appreciate everything you do.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Karen, thank you so much for taking us through your journey, explaining your story. I think it's amazing to hear where you were, to see where you're going and how you're progressing with everything. And I want to wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All right. You take care, okay?
You too.